teens and adults. Today, we're going to talk about how to drive and how to make turns. Making right turns can be very challenging, but practicing and applying some of these tips will really help you. You got to make sure your car is properly positioned. A lot of beginning drivers tend to hug the right side of the curb. If you hug the right side of the curb, you're going to go up on the curb, catch the bottom of the car, and literally hit a stop sign or catch the curb, and your car will go up in airborne, which failure. So don't hug the right. What I need you to do is when you approach and you're getting ready to turn, make sure you have at least 2.5 to 3.5 feet. This is on the right as well as the left. Give your chance room and give yourself time. You want to make sure the front end of the car is even with the curb before you make your turn. Next, let's talk about speed. Beginner drivers do one of two things. Either they go too slow and they don't have enough speed to make the turn, example, 5, 7 miles an hour, or they go too fast, 25, 35, 45. When you're turning, and if you don't slow down, you're going to have to overturn to keep control of the vehicle. So speed control is really important. Ensure that your speed is appropriate. Slow down where you feel comfortable. And your instructor, me, I'll give you feedback and indicators to help you. Next, your blinker. You need to position and turn your blinker 100 feet or half a block. It's extremely important because you're going to let people know what you're doing. Am I going right? The right turn blinker's on, that's up. Am I going left? The left turn blinker is down. You want to use your left hand. On most cars in the United States, the blinker is on the left of the steering wheel. Understand that you have to know where your devices are to turn. Up is right, make a smooth entry into the turn, down is left. Beginner drivers tend to forget that. You're going to confuse other drivers. And if you have an around blinker, you're going to see cars cut inside you, and then we cut them off. So you want to look at the dashboard to check and look ahead. Your instructor should be taking you through this process of understanding where the blinker is and when you're supposed to use it, when you're supposed to slow down. Next, let's talk about looking ahead. Imagine you're on a city block. You want to look ahead as far as you can to see people, to turn on your blinker, and to allow people to react. Your turn signal will let people know. When you look ahead, you will see. It's just like walking in the hallway at school, at college, or walking down your neighborhood. Look ahead at the corners as you approach them. If you're making a left turn, you want to look ahead and merge into the center lane. If you go too far under the light, you won't be able to see. And you're going to make a really short turn, hitting the car in the left lane head on. If you go too wide, you're going to turn in the wrong lane, which is grounds for failure, because if you cut off another car and I, your instructor, have to turn the wheel, that is a driving error. So what I try to do as your instructor, I have you slow down, squeeze your brake. I never say hit the brake, because if you hit the brake, a lot of beginner drivers would do just that. They will hit the brake and then we'll get rear-ended. So I always tell you to squeeze the brake. Here's another tip. I need you to wear thin-soled, comfortable shoes. This will allow you to feel the pedal. Converse is a good shoe. I'm not sponsored by them. Converse is a really good shoe. It gives you grip. You can feel the brake. Crocs are another good shoe that you can have. Use the ball of your foot. You don't want to use the tip of your toes because your toe can actually slip off. If you're picking up your foot between the brake and gas, your foot can get caught between the brake and gas. I've seen that too. And if we're making a left turn, you have a window of 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 2 seconds. And if your foot gets caught or you whiff, meaning miss the gas, and I've had some students hit the brake, we're about to get hit. So I try not to thread the needle. What does that mean? You cut it really quick because your car could cut off, you might overturn or underturn. So your instructor, as well as you, should never be putting you in danger. You should feel safe. And anxiety is normal. I just talked to a mother today in her 30s. Hey, I'm going to be taking driver's ed soon. I know how to drive, but I'm so nervous. And she told me this. I said, relax. I will support you. I will help you. Because if you're taking the time to listen to this, you care, you want to learn how to drive. Scan your mirrors. You have a center mirror, you have a driver's side mirror, you have a passenger mirror. They're there to help you. Before you slow down, you need to look in your center mirror. Why? A car could be tailgating you. They might not be paying attention. And if you slow down too fast or too aggressive, you're going to get rear-ended. So check your mirrors. Be aware of vehicles behind you, beside you, and any oncoming obstacles. There could be a traffic cone. They could be working on the road. You might have to switch to the left lane. So you need to check your mirrors every time you slow down to be aware. Next, avoid cutting the corner. A lot of beginning drivers turn short. You turn just before the corner, and literally your right tire hits the corner of the curb. Say that real fast. Corner of the curb. And what happens, you can break the rim, you can damage the car, you can blow out the tire, or the car will literally bump off the curb and you will lose control. I've had that happen a few times with beginning drivers. So what I need you to do is take your time. Don't cut your turn short. Your instructor should be teaching you this, showing you this. And what I do with my students and what I need you to do, go in your neighborhood, drive around your neighborhood 8 times, make 8 right turns, go to the end, make a right turn, go to the other end, make a right turn, make 8 right turns. You're looking for consistency. Some turns you're going too fast. Ooh, that was too fast. I almost crashed. Some turns you're going slow. Ooh, I was too slow. The person behind me almost hit me. Ooh, I turned too short. I almost hit the curb. Man, that was a good turn. Right around that 5th or 7th turn, you'll be more consistent. One common mistake is cutting the corner too early to stay outside of your lane until you reach the curb. Also, some students go really wide, like a school bus or a semi truck. If you position your car really wide, you're going to go in the wrong lane. And then what happens, students overturn. So we're overturning, and then we almost hit the curb. And what I do as a driver's ed instructor, I just squeeze the brake so the car doesn't hit the curb, and you really panic. One remedy to this is looking where you're going. I know what you're saying. I look where I'm going. No, you don't. Because if you're making a right turn, look at my eyes. If I'm turning, I'm looking to the right. You're not looking where you're going. If I'm making a left turn, I'm looking to the left. If you don't turn your head, I know we're going to crash. I know that we're going to end up in the wrong side of the road or turning short. Look where you're going. Turn your head. Use the apex technique. What is the apex technique? As you begin to turn the wheel, point is called apex. This is the point closest to the inside of the curb. Once you reach the apex, gradually start turning your wheel. So when you look, you're looking, and as the road turns, aka the apex, you turn your wheel, lifting off the gas a little bit, and halfway out, you accelerate out. If you slam the gas, the car will jerk, and then you will lose points. If you're driving a manual, the car will actually stall out. You will lose points. Practice in empty parking lots. That's a tip that I would recommend where you're going up the aisle, down the aisle, up the aisle, down the aisle. Practice looking where you want to go. If you don't look where you're going to end up hitting a parked car. A lot of beginning drivers, I'll give you a tip, end up looking at poles. We're not poles. Look where you want to go, scan, and be safe. Empty parking lots allow you to have less anxiety, less stress. They encourage you to develop good driving practices. If you're having trouble practicing right hand turns, go in an empty parking lot. A lot of students do that. This will allow you to feel more comfortable. Now, one thing that I've heard from parents and students, they drive in cemeteries. That is very disrespectful. Do not drive in cemeteries. I've never done that before, and I never will, because that's disrespectful to the people who have gone on to the next world. Drive in places that are comfortable, that are consistent during off peak hours. Ask for feedback. I've taken some time to give you feedback. Ask a friend, ask your bestie, ask me, leave comments. Experience is a good teacher. And 5 years, you're intermediate. After 5, got to get up to 10, you become advanced. It takes practice, it takes time to become a good driver. But if you follow these tips I'm giving you, and if you take the time to subscribe and look at my content, you're going to learn how to drive, because I'm a state certified driving instructor. This is my life, this is my journey. So I want to give you those best points, best practices to help you overcome your anxiety. And the only way you're going to overcome your anxiety is through gradually getting out there. An example that I would tell you, I have a Gen 1 Camaro, Rally Sport. It's from Texas. Clean, no rust. Chromoly cage, small block, 900 horsepower. I almost crashed at Montgomery Motorsport Park. Why? When I launched the car, I went sideways to the left. I didn't know what I was doing. I was going almost 135 miles an hour. That's real. When you are pulling off from the green light, you're not going 135 miles an hour. You have to keep the wheel straight. A lot of beginners don't know when their steering wheel is straight. It's a turn and a half. Turn the wheel all the way to the right. That's all the way. It's a turn and a half when your steering wheel is properly positioned. That opportunity and scare made me think. Whenever I'm at the track, if my car goes left, automatically I'm panicking, I'm nervous. But you can't be scared. Anxiety is real. I'm giving you this true life example because we all go through difficult times in our life, and we need a support system. We need someone to talk to, our bestie, our good friend, our cousin who's going to give us the honest to God truth. So anxiety is real because we go through it every day. If someone is tailgating you very aggressively, if someone cuts in your lane, you're like, oh my God. So you want to lift your foot off the gas, you lose a few miles an hour. A lot of beginners, when they're on the expressway, you have a car really tailgating you, you're going 70, they want to go 75, they want to go 80. If you can't maintain safe speed, you need to stay in the middle lane. The middle lane is from 65 to about 70. If you're in the left lane, that's the passing lane. People are not playing. I want to thank you